categorize as either or against me or for me.
Yeah.
You mentioned about the educated and the university, and when I was chatting with the Prime Minister, I mentioned that we have a census coming up, or results of a census, and it should give us the proper number or the correct number of unemployment in this country. But I asked, have we categorized it to find out how many educated are unemployed as opposed to uneducated? Because you're right, it's educated that are going to keep the sustainability of the country going and make the right decisions on how to educate those who are not educated. We don't know if that statistic is going to come up. But then we have the case of which comes first, the cart or the horse? Do we start educating our people first before we look at Robinson Point and the coastal road? How do you fit it into the whole development of the country? How do you put into perspective?
When John F. Kennedy stated that we are going to break into the next frontier and declare that space travel is going to be a reality, NASA was not yet formed. So the intent must be there first, the vision must be there first. Then you deal with the infrastructure to get you to where you want to go. We know what we need. We know what will make us prosperous, what will make our productivity and the productive capacity.
Do we know?
Well, I'm telling you.
I mean, you know.
I'm telling you.
You know. You know.
I'm telling you.
We were talking about lack of vision at the beginning of our program this morning. I mean, if we have a lack of vision and a plan for the country, like a business plan or a projection.
I'm banking, Ernesto, on the wide reach of love and love audience. So we knew before I started speaking. We didn't know. The vision was not there, but no, the vision is certainly
there. But we need leadership. It can only be created by leadership. I don't know if you want us to open the phones and...
I have no problem.
You don't have no problem.
I'd love to.
I would love to talk to you a lot more, but I'm sure we have some... I hope we're not going to get political callers here, and because it wastes our time. It really does. When we can be constructively discussing development and so on. Where would you put tourism in this whole picture? We seem to be leaning towards it a lot.
Right, and it's a mistake. Tourism cannot sustain an economy. Tourism is a complement to an economy, but cannot be the mainstay of it. Industrial development is where we need to be going. But as many will tell you, with our small population and the limited professions and professionals in it, we are not in a position right now to industrialize to that great extent. This would allow us to do it by utilizing the technologies of others and the advancement that others have made, given that we have what they don't have, and we can give them access to what they don't have access to. And in doing that, we basically bridge that technological gap. We make it shorter. So this is the key. The key is to be able to attract the Trinidadian, the Jamaican, the Australian to come to Belize and bring their factories and their industry and their technology because they want to break into a new market.
We have to have this infrastructure you're talking about.
Yes, yes.
We have to sell that to somebody. I want to come back to that with you, but let's take this call. Hello, caller. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Ernesto. Good
yes,
morning,
sir.
Ava.
Good morning. There are no agendas on this station. It's across the board.
Good morning. This is Major George.
Yes, sir.
My brother, firstly, let me say that I am very impressed with the Gladden plan, and I agree with you 100%, Ernesto. This is what Belize needs. We have to have people with the vision that will move this country forward. And it should not matter from whom that vision comes, so long as we work together and we can achieve it for the good of all Belizeans. I am extremely happy to hear that there are other people who understand the importance of our ports to national development. Currently, our ports are inward looking. They are only looking at the business that comes to Belize or the business that goes from Belize, and we're not even considering transshipment, which allows the ports to expand, which means that the goods going to and from Belize, the cost of moving those goods will be lower. So the ports are critical to national development. I recall that I sent an email to the folks at Horizon 2030. And I didn't give an answer back from it, because I can't understand how you can discuss national development without having a discourse on the advancement of our ports.
Transportation.
Yes.
In general.
Regarding the,
internal and external.
yeah, regarding the issue of do we educate our people first, or do we have this plan in motion and then decide on how to educate? My idea was that we should educate, because with education comes inspiration, it comes innovation. And so when our people are educated on these things, then they are the ones who will move this plan.
Push it forward, yeah.
I have been trying so hard to get the tertiary institutions in this country to take on a course called An Introduction to Shipping and Logistics. And I'm telling you, it has been the greatest runaround, and I am shocked because everybody seems to be stuck in the same old mold. Let's pump out the business admin students, let's pump out the usual kind of thing, and these are the kinds of courses, if you look at where the rest of the world is going, this is where it's going. Given globalization and the movement of goods and real merchandise, this is where it's going. It's all about logistics. How do you get your goods to market in an efficient manner? That's where it's going. And so if we don't take this opportunity now to educate our people in these kinds of emerging subjects, then we'll forever be in the position that we're at. So I like the idea, my brother. As a Belizean, I am telling you, I am prepared to work, and it does not matter who that person is leading. I think Belizeans have to get behind any good plan, because otherwise, I understand about a professor, and I missed the lecture, discussing the rise, decline, and fall of Belize, I think from 1800 to 1980 or something.
Yeah.
Well, I would hate for another professor to have to come back and talk about how far back we'll be in the next 20 years if we don't do something right now. Anyways,
thank you very much, Carla. Thank you very much.
You guys have a good time, and I really do appreciate this morning's show, Ernesto and Ava.
Thank you very much. There are two things we press a lot here, Avana. First is the enforcement of the basic laws, the quality of life laws, and unity, coming together. You know, we have to forget. I will quote the new governor of California, well, again re-elected.
Yes.
And I'll just change one word, where he said we must first work as, well, he said Californians, we must first work as Belizeans and not as members of a political party.
Certainly.
Because like you said, they have the same problem. This is very important, and we can't seem to get that going. Let's take another call. Hello, caller, good morning.
Hello. Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
So Mr. Saliva, and his excellent presentation. Just couple comments for you, Mr. Saliva. One.
Sure.
Did you forget Belmopan by design or by default?
No, I haven't.
In your presentation.
No, I haven't.
That's just a aside, no? More importantly, I think, is the issue of our poverty situation in Belize.
Yes.
We have about, the latest showed we have 45% poor. 45% of our people are poor, and about 25% or so are extremely poor. Now, where is food production and food security in your plan? I'd like to hear it, because I think it's critical for peace and development. Food security, and having people get out of this poverty.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Well, first and foremost, when I talk about the industrial parks, each industrial park would have a different focus. But given that we have basically an agro-based country, you're looking at now doing what is necessary to extend the life and to convert what we produce naturally, whether it be corn, beans, whatever it is, to value added. The only way you can raise the wage levels of farmers, and you will notice that in industrialized countries, that the wage level of farmers rise with the industrial capacity of the country.
It's subsidized. The farmers are subsidized
by industry.
Yes.
They're subsidized by industry. If you have the industry, you can subsidize the farmer. Where does farming take place in this country? By and large, it's on the mainland, of course. In Corozal, we have the sugar. We are talking about saving the sugar industry. $10 million will not save the sugar industry. It's basically putting it on life support, because it's going to be needing another $10 million down the road at some point. We need to go into an ISO-rated sugar factory where we're producing industrial sugar. Now, that could be the focus of an industrial park in Corozal, which then gives rise to the beverage industry, utilizing the fruits that's grown naturally in the Belize district. Now, down in Toledo, you would basically want to put an industrial park that has pharmaceutical as its base, using the rainforest as a source. of research and development of herbs and that type of thing.
Medicine, yeah.
So I can go into a
So it would feed on itself.
myriad
It would feed on itself.
topics.
Okay. Right now we'll take a
thing.
break and we'll come back before we close.
Well, we're back.
Okay, everything has to come to an end sometimes. Martha, we could have stayed here for a while, and we expect you to come back, of course. I'd like to invite you back also as a lawyer, because we do get calls here asking about new SIs and laws being implemented or suggested, and we try to get lawyers to come in and talk to us and their opinions on it. But as you know, it gets a little antsy when you do that. But let's go back to your Gladden plan. Now, my basic question was, okay, sounds good, but you won't fall out of the sky. We have to sell this to someone. We have to sell it to an entity or a country or a billionaire where this is going to make back the money. It's going to work. It's going to work. Now, it sounds like any big plan. I mean, that's how Google came about. That's how big things come about, you know, the iPod, the telephone, cellulars, because somebody had an idea. I said, this is going to spread, make us money. My first thought here is the Americans are going to build it for us. The British aren't going to build it for us. I was reading an article recently where the Chinese are investing a lot of money in Africa, in areas where nobody is going on, but they have left and they're going back in, and the Chinese are very liquid. Is this something we could talk to the Chinese about, and they can see the potential in this area? Of course, when you do things like that, you have to give up some of your own identity, you know, because we can't build it.
That's the reason I wouldn't go for that.
How would you do it?
Easy, I'll show you. As I explained to you about eminent domain before, building a road, which is for the public good, would invoke eminent domain. You get that right away from the north to the south, the entire stretch of land that you'll be utilizing for this project. You put it into one title. It has that value. As I explained before, the latent value of a mile on the coastline, mainland, would be 18,480,000 US.
Has a value.
That's the appraised. That would be an appraised value.
Right.
So you're talking about 4
coastline
billion
value.
That 240-mile stretch would have a value, a combined value of something like $4 billion.
240 miles, you've already taken into consideration this is not going to be a straight road.
No, it's not.
It's going to take, has to pass through some swamp areas, and it's going, okay.
Yes. And we're not talking on the coast, on the beach.
Let's
get that out of the question.
Right.
I mean,
we're
talking about
the sea all the time.
But you were seeing the sea for large stretches. This would basically make Belize a more scenic place to traverse, especially when you have that, you know, the Caribbean Sea at certain points. But the key to it all is that once you put it into one title, you can then petition the IDB, the International Development Bank, or whichever banking institution to basically put up the seed capital, then sell bonds to the private sector for the construction of this.
Well, the bonds are a bad word wrong, you know, but anyway.
Many things have taken negative connotation, but they're good things. You understand? Now, the thing about it is this. When you put in place the authority to generate this capital through the private sector, because it has to be a private sector driven project, it's the toll booths that give the private sector the ability to recover whatever investment they make.
And these major highways.
In Cancun, they receive 5 million tourists every year. What we need to be doing right now is to find out how many tourists come to